Started here. We're in the Forest Temple, one of my... I don't want to say it's one of my more favorite temples, but it's definitely up there, at least with the music specifically. When you first enter here, you're going to face two of these wolfos. And again, hitting it in the back is how you kill them. There are things that we can do in this room. I believe, if I remember correctly, there is a key up here. And so we're going to go ahead and climb on up here. Yep, okay, so there's a key up here, and then we're going to go and get that, and then go into the dungeon itself. And then we're going to enter the main hub of the entire dungeon here. Oh, reason for the dungeon. And that's for this cutscene right here. Okay, so they stole the fire, and then they steal this elevator. Now, this elevator is actually where the boss sits. It's underneath, but we're going to go ahead and head this way. Our first objective is going to be getting the dungeon item. There we go. And here we go. Now you'll notice I'm stabbing at their feet. It's to kind of get past their shield. And then that should give us... I can't remember if it's a key or if it's the dungeon item. I don't think it's the dungeon item just yet. But let's go ahead and now look up here and you'll notice an octagonal hole. Just remember that. Nothing else to notice. Above the doors, you'll see symbols on some of them and symbols on not. The ones with no symbols tend to lead back to here, so... Just for anybody who gets lost in these dungeons a little bit, you can kind of see that. One of the few songs I actually have completely memorized. And that's thanks to Majora's Mask. But y'all can let me know if you actually want to see me play Majora's Mask. I do somewhat intend to, or intend to. But I want to use my Switch if I can, because I've noticed some issues with the emulation. I remember, I think it's this way. Now, while I had all the child dungeons completely memorized, some of the adult dungeons still sometimes confuse me. I generally know what we're doing. It's just a matter of getting to those spots sometimes. Well, that was supposed to hit him. Alright, so you can actually stop and they won't hit you. Now we can kill that guy. We'll go through this room, and again, you'll notice the symbol above the door. Some of the duck nuts there. Also, aiming on an emulator is a little finicky, so you'll kind of see me stutter a little bit. I was gonna see if I could backflip over. Certain things you can backflip over here in this game. And so now we're gonna go through this little this little tunnel here to get this treasure chest. Yeah, see, we're getting a lot of keys. Every key is used in every dungeon. And what I mean to say is, at the end of a dungeon, you should have 0. Every key inside of every dungeon is used. And then I believe from here we go to the other side. Okay, no, actually you go up the stairs next to the door we just went through. Alright, now this room right here is one of the first rooms I remember of this particular dungeon. I'm not sure why. Now the room after this one is actually very interesting. Alright, she just wants you to pay attention to the arrows on the floor. What she's trying to get you to do is to move this. Now these blocks are pretty important. They allow you to move forward into this particular area. And so we're just going to follow along on the arrows here. I forgot you had to go up the ladder first. Thought it was the other way. Ladder first and up the block. Okay, and then we can push this block into place. Go to climb up. Alright, so then we're going to go up this ladder here, and then we're going to go on to the room before the room everybody probably remembers. Alright, kill him. And then we're here at the twisty room. There we go. And then she warns us of a specific type of monster. I wonder what it could be. We'll stick around and find that out later. Octagonal hole. Just remember that. And as you can see, they can kind of float, so in Japanese mythology, these guys are kind of more spirits than they are physical beings, if I remember correctly. So that's why they can kind of float. Otherwise, no in-lore explanation is really given. There we go. Attack this one, and you can see the massive amount of lag. That, for whatever reason, lags it on most versions of the game. I'm not really sure what happens or why. Alright, so we're gonna go back in here. I never really saw it, but you have her here. Let's see if we can aim at her. There we go. And then last one. So we're just gonna sit here and shield every single time. They'll go invisible for a couple attacks, and then you can hit them again. I do believe that bow and arrow actually does more damage to them, I'm pretty certain, but it's not really worth it. They're not a particularly difficult enemy. And so now we've lit this fire here. Go through this next side. Oh, it's a pretty similar setup, suspiciously so. I don't think I can hit that. Yeah, I don't think so. There we go. And boom. Alright, so now we've got those 3 paintings. Now, not every ghost is quite like this. Boom. Alright. Now that they're defeated here, we're going to go ahead and pick up those arrows and get the treasure chest. I believe it's the compass. So our objective is to really just find all 3 of them, and then also the boss key. Unlike the child dungeons, the adult ones have boss keys. And so that's ultimately our goal here. Now, I happen to know where the boss key is. I just don't remember where the 3rd ghost is, to be honest with you. The 4th one, I definitely know where it's at, but we'll see when we get there. And again, she's going to warn us of something here. It's kind of interesting. Oh, look at our shadow. I seem to be missing a key. Hold on. Alright. So I'm back at the other twisty room. And boom. We're straightening that one out. Now this chest here is actually the boss key. I apologize for my eye. I have no idea why it's itching so much. Eventually I'll kill one of those things. If I remember correctly, down here. There we go. Here. There we go. Got that guy. He splits into 3. Tries to avoid you. Doesn't work very well. Gets killed. And then we're back in this room. And we gotta recomplete this stuff. Now, you've all seen this stuff, so I will see you back at the twisty room. Alright, so now we're back here. We should be able to shoot the eye. And remakes the room twisty again. So now we can go back to where we were, where we needed the key. So I'll see y'all back there. Alright, so now we're back here, and we're gonna see if we can't kill this guy again. There we go. Got him finally. Eventually I'll kill one of those things. He gives you some rupees. At really point, he does come back. I mean, most enemies come back after you leave and exit and enter the room. These guys are incredibly easy to dodge. Now this room is pretty interesting. We got to combine our new dungeon item to hit that eye switch. One that is right there. But it's frozen. If we hit it with an arrow now, as you can see, it doesn't work. We have a torch here. And arrows are wooden. Alright, now we're back in this twisty room. And again, these guys are incredibly easy to dodge. Now we have some new ways to go. We could go back this way. As you can see, it leads back here. Or we go down this hole. And as we can see, ceiling's falling down. Generally, where things are, so where that spider is, for instance, or that treasure chest, are safe zones. Okay, so now that we're in this room, we're going to walk forward and hit this. And you can see some blocks. And the whole purpose of this is we're going to actually push these together, if I can remember the order. And as you can see, we need to make the green witch. This one's not green. We're going to slide that one out of the way. Most of the time, you have plenty of time if you don't screw it up. We're just going to make this ghost here. I think I said witch earlier. I meant to say ghost. They're actually Poes. They're called the Poe sisters. And there we go. There's the third one. And then, like I said, we will definitely know where the fourth one's at, because that one's a little more special than these. Alright, so now we're back in the main room. All the torches are lit, except for one. And would you look at that? There's a ghostie in the middle. And she's splitting into 4. As you saw there, one spins around, and our objective is to find the one that spins and shoot him. With N64, it can be a little difficult sometimes to go the exact direction you want. And target the correct one, because they weren't perfect at targeting yet. I'm going to show what happens if you miss him. So what happens if you miss them? They just disappear. You can, I don't think it's possible to hit all 4 of them at the same time. If it is, I would imagine it wouldn't be all that interesting, just because I would imagine they just let you hit it. He's not really meant to be challenging. They're kind of like the mid-boss of this. Alright, so now this room actually spins around. Now I'm just opening his treasure chest to see if there's any like extra items like arrows or something. There is, because it'd be useful. So one of the easier ways of solving this puzzle is just keep spinning, spin, enter every room, spin, enter every room. Eventually you'll get to it. And then again, we're just going to continue to keep spinning. Eventually we'll get to it. We'll find these 2 switches, and this should be the last one. This one's just kind of a little bit of a taste of what later dungeons will be like. A little more complex and everything. You can see that the child dungeons were kind of more training for these. They were pretty simplistic, but they had pretty similar ideas. Alright, so now we're going to go to the boss. And is my game glitched? Now let's try reloading the room. Guess it's not glitched, guys. This boss is based off of a trigger from the center of the room. And it looks like we're right at the end of the game, though, because we are fighting Ganon. Kinda. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do here is he's going to go inside the paintings. We're going to shoot the real one. The real one's supposed to be brighter and look a little more realistic. The other one's supposed to be darker. And all it is, we'll just shoot him. As you can see, the one's very much brighter than the other one. And now we're going to play a little bit of Dead Man's Volley, of which I suck at. This is a pretty callback to Aghanim and from Link to the Past, which you do this kind of thing with. Oh. Whoops. Stabbed instead. Dang. Alright, there we go. Now we beat him. Alright. So now we're going to go through this cutscene here, and I'll let that play out. There are about 1,000 theories as to what they mean by the gap between dimensions. Gonna get our reward here. I just want to get the funny camera angle. Sorry, I'll always be your friend. It's almost cute. Alright, so now our next objective is to head on over to the next temple. Traditionally, that is the fire temple, at least as far as I know. I've not heard of too many people saying otherwise. Now, I believe you actually can complete a couple of these dungeons a little bit out of order. Namely, I think it's the fire and the forest. I don't think you can complete water and fire out of order. I think water requires fire to be completed. So we're going to head on over to, well, where there's a lot of fire over nearby the Gorons, so let's go ahead and head on over there. And again, I could use some shortcuts. I'm not going to, mostly just so that you all can see kind of what it looks like as we head over more normally. Alright, so now we're entering Kakariko. So we're going to head on over, get this figured out here, see what's going on. So we know that there's a volcano essentially right here, and so that's where we're heading, towards fire. Being the fire temple, it makes a lot of sense. Actually, if you look up, you can start to see it. The mountain's not having a good time, is it? We saw it earlier as well. And so now we're on to get our next item when we left the Temple of Time. Let's go and see how the Gorons are doing, of which there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of them. Interesting. Oh, here's one. about we stop him with a bomb? It's an interesting name. Seems to be my name. Darunia, interesting. So yeah, so remember, we made him dance. We cured depression with him. Not really sure how we did that, but we did. And then he's such a big fan that he wants an autograph. Alright, so it's asking if we can calm him down. We're talking about the dragon. Using a hammer, interesting. Perhaps it's foreshadowing. And again, we need to talk to them about the other thing. It's interesting they're able to pick up the Gorons even. Must be pretty strong. A heat-resistant tunic. That'd probably be pretty useful inside of a volcano. One might say. We're gonna go ahead and equip that here. As you can see, it's red. Nice good old fire-resistant red. I'm gonna pull this out now. You're not really supposed to know that. You're kind of supposed to just look at it and think it's kind of weird, I think. I don't really know if there's a clue. I kind of figured it out that way as a child as well, just looking at it going, well, that's kind of weird. Interesting note, those two mountains there are actually a callback to what's called Spectacle Rock. From the first Legend of Zelda game. A lot of these things are callbacks. Now we have this little gap here. We'd gone here as a child. We first of all would have a timer, but second of all, we would not be able to cross this gap. And they're back. Who are they? Could they be Impa in disguise? Impa had some of that stuff. Maybe it's a trick of Ganondorf. Once again, falling for his trap. Some of these camera angles feel a little bit interesting to say the least, but they were just figuring out some of this stuff back then. So back then it'd been real cool the camera could do that, but nowadays it kind of feels like a little kid got a hold of the camera and just kind of put it wherever he wanted. Oh, they didn't let us get near him again. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and head into this dungeon here. And if you look, Spire 1, Spire 2, that's Spectacle Rock. And we're going to go inside. And this is the Fire Temple. We're going to ignore some of the enemies. Now, it doesn't stop you from getting on fire, the tunic, it just helps prevent it. Sounds like a very evil dragon. I'll get to that chanting in a minute. That chanting is very interesting. Alright, so the main objective of this dungeon, so the forest one had all the fires that we had to put out. The main objective of this one is to collect and save all the Gorons. Like that. Every single Goron has a key, so that's our objective. Now that chanting you're hearing, that chanting isn't in all versions of this game. In fact, was removed before the game was ever released, so it had nothing to do with backlash. You might hear that it was before it was ever released. But it was removed, they think, simply because it just didn't follow Nintendo of America's non-religious policy, simply because that is a Islamic chant. However, it is my favorite version of this song. I do not like what they replaced it with. Everyone has a secret. I was trying to avoid talking to him. They're talking about destroying walls with bombs, which we kind of knew about already. They're also talking about fake doors. So that chanting is part of something called like spectral voice, something like that. Some kind of sampling CD basically that they used. And it was actually has been used in a lot of games, not just Legend of Zelda. However, Legend of Zelda is one of the few I think that has had to remove it. Oh, oops, this is not. This is a sculptural room. Oops, ignore that I did any of that. None of that mattered. So it's something interesting about the fire tunic. We could just walk in lava for a second. And as long as we reset the timer by getting out of lava every once in a while, we'll be fine. You will eventually start getting hurt. Now this wall looks kind of suspicious, so let's hit it with a bomb. And if you listen to the Goron, that's basically what he was trying to tell you, is that you can blow up walls like that one. Now this dungeon's probably one of the more linear ones, unlike Forest Temple, where there's a lot of places you can go. You can't really go too many places, as you need keys and such to go through doors. It's pretty obvious what you didn't get, and as you can see, we've completed this room, so we're gonna go through. I'm probably gonna regret that. I'm sure I missed something. This room is pretty interesting, and that the whole idea is we're gonna be riding up a fire geyser. I love how the bats just sit there and let you kill them. Now, if done correctly, this room is on a timer with that fire geyser. It is entirely possible to push this block off on the first cycle it comes up if you move fast enough and be riding up as you drop down instead of waiting. I have never done it, but it is possible. I've seen it done. I apologize if you hear any whining in the background. My dog is completely asleep, and she whines when she's asleep sometimes. Alright, so now we're gonna do that. Push this down just because it's gonna be slightly impossible to do this otherwise. The whole objective here is we're trying to get to the top of the room. If you remember before, I pointed out it was 2 spires. That actually comes important here. The whole objective is to save all the Gorons, like I said before, but also climb the spires. So that's what we're going to basically be working on here, and we'll be continuously going up. Now I am sure I'm going to miss something in this room. This room has a lot of secrets. Sculptula. Roll. Bonk. Be another Goron. But I guaranteed we'll miss something in this room, I'm sure, so we'll be back. Yeah, I do really wish they just never took it out. I actually played on the version that had this. That was the version that I grew up with, was with this chanting. Now, if you hit a wall and it sounds different, then that means it's something you can blow up. Which is why you'll see me hitting walls occasionally just to verify if it's blow up or not. That's kind of funny. You can see it, the gate going through the outside. Alright, so that should be every nook and cranny because I remember it's on the outsides. And then we're going to go into this middle here. So we're going to place this here. Now this is for Roar's Wind. I almost called it something completely different. I'm sorry. It's for Roar's Wind. And that'll enable us to come back to this room, because I like to fall off this room a lot. And unlike a lot of places, if you fall down in this temple, for the most part, you're going down. All the way down to whatever the bottom floor is. Not necessarily the bottom floor, I guess, but you're going down pretty far. Alright, so we got the map, so now we can kind of see the rooms here a little bit. Go through here. Alright, and then you can see the door up ahead has a lock. We obviously cannot go through there, we just used our last key, so where do we go? Well, if we continue following the path, dodging these guys, then we can go up here. And we can actually go up and over the fire by doing this. And we're going to go up here. Where we can blow this up. Go this way and unlock this shortcut. Now if we fall down, it won't be such a big deal. The reason why Navi was freaking out there is because she wanted to tell us that she could feel the wind or hear the wind or something coming up from underneath. Mostly just to let us know about the shortcut. I happen to know about it, so I didn't bother. But again, it's one of those things that because it was down or up from your main plane of view, it's something they had to tell about. Alright, so now we've unlocked that core, and our objective is to get over there. I'm gonna fight this guy. I meant to grab the magic as I rolled, but that's fine. I doubt it'll be there when we get back. Oh, it is. Nice. Getting lined up in 64 games are sometimes a little difficult. Now, I could play the melody for the scarecrows, go up there and get some stuff. I'm not going to do that, because that's just extra. I only got the scarecrow just in case I decided I wanted to change how we're playing this game a little bit and have to go back and get him. We go this way. We now have a key. In fact, we have two. Then we go through here. And this will lead to a part of the dungeon that we sing a lot of. This room. This room is kind of divided into two in a lot of ways from the fire barriers. And you can see that door over there. It looks kind of weird, but we're gonna blow it up. And then you can see it's just a fake wall door. So if you go slow, for the most part, you won't get hit by the fire. Except for those. That's kind of what the pots are there trying to tell you, though. To not run directly next to it. And if I remember correctly, this place is called the Fire Maze, I think is what people call it. Alright, it's a place on time here. It should be able to bring down this time on Song of Time block. Which let us get up there as needed. And again, that is a cut mechanic. I know I kind of said it last episode. I didn't really kind of explain what I meant by that. The mechanic is that it used to go back in time and then the child would have to deal with it. Now, they just kind of removed it, and what ends up happening now is it just teleports into a wall, and then that's just kind of the end of it. They don't really use it back and forth. There's one spot in the game where you can really see it without going through a whole bunch of stuff, and that spot is actually in the Goron village. It is not a spot we'll be going to, unfortunately. It's really way out of the way, and I always get confused finding it. Alright, so now our objective is to get over there and quickly. And now we're over here. Now we got some bombs, which is interesting. And that's kind of trying to tell you about this. So let's blow them up. And would you look at that? There's a door behind him. Now, there is actually, they don't know if it's a glitch necessarily, but it's almost like an improperly programmed. He takes the most damage from the Master Sword. And for whatever reason, a jump slash will always instantly end the phase. So remember the power crouch stab, last thing you did. And again, instantly ends the phase. And unfortunately, did a regular slash right before. You kind of see how you're supposed to fight him. Just that way. And so we're gonna go up here. And what's up here, you might say? Well, this up here is more puzzles. No, I'm just kidding. It's we're heading our way towards the dungeon item. Dungeon item, as some may have guessed, is in fact going to help us hit some stuff. Well, that didn't help. And there we go. Drop the bomb, hits that. Similar type of ideal as earlier. Now, the dungeon item is over there. I'm going to do a save state because there's something I've always wanted to try. I never have. And that's to glitch our way in here. Let's just float. Almost. There we go. Got it. Only took a lot. I'm just about to die for it, but that's okay. And now that we got this, we can now smash things really, really hard. That was really close. And then this is kind of training right here. I'll collect some hearts as soon as I can here. Hearts. There you go. That beeping's stopping now. I apologize. So we're gonna hit this little pedestal that's kind of hanging up again. This has those weird faces. Weird symbols tend to be where you need to go. So that's what we're gonna do, is find those weird symbols, start skipping some stairs. And again, blue switches do not hold themselves. We have to place something on top of them. A little bit of reiteration from the previous. And again, the child dungeons, again, were really training. They really were. Now, we're getting pretty close to the end already. Well, we don't have the boss key. We do have this key. So what could this be used for? Now we're gonna fall all the way down. If you remember. That over there's the boss door. So we're gonna go back to the main room here. And you'll see these little pillars here. We've already destroyed once. Alright, go away. Stay here from the side. Come on. If you'd hit anything but the wall, that'd be great. And so now we have this key. Those were hiding the door. So now we gotta kill these things. Get the heart. Get this. That. Okay, where is he? How'd you get over here, bud? Got him. He didn't spawn anything. Oh well. Now, the hammer will actually instantly help knock them out of this thing. I remember a jump slash from the Master Sword, instantly ends the phase. And we're gonna go up there and see what that is, but I'm pretty certain it doesn't matter. Yeah. And so now this is the boss key. As you can see, every Goron has a treasure with him. So this last Goron has the boss key. It's an interesting place right next to him. And now we're gonna go fight the main boss. And unfortunately, we will be saying goodbye to the epic fire temple song that got changed. First thing we're gonna do though is we're gonna get some supplies. Get that fairy. Touch this one. That should full heal me. Come on. In we go. So we're in here. Where is he? And where's Darunia? Nobody knows where Darunia is at. And he missed. Now, notice which hole he dives into. That's going to become important, actually. So that hole that he was diving into, whichever one he dives into, is where his hitbox is next. He has 2 hitboxes. He's a flying hitbox, and then he has a underground hitbox. I'm absolutely getting wrecked by him, but that's alright. And this is how you avoid this attack. So he goes up there and he like rubs on the ceiling, I guess. I don't really know. And he missed. And this basically just cheeses him out of everything he can do. And again, he's going to do that rubbing on the ceiling attack. We're just going to kind of stay in here. And it'll miss us. Or it'll kill us, apparently. That was just unlucky where it fell. I'm in the wall. Ordinarily, something like that doesn't happen. And he hit me when he came up. Nice. That's kind of what you're supposed to do, is this right here. But you can kind of just do this too. He is absolutely wrecking me. There we go. I was afraid it was going to hit him. Alright, so now that he's beaten, after he beat us, apparently. That'll be it for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this play through. Let the ending cutscenes all play through at the end as well. And next episode, we're going to look through tackling the water temple. That requires a lot of prep, so we may only get through just the water temple. If we have time after that, I will totally do some more of the prep work for the following dungeons after that. But yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed. And again, if you want to see me play Majora's Mask or anything like that, just let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, enjoy the cutscenes. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe down below. Check out other playthroughs I did both solo and with others. And remember to keep enjoying life. I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.